Gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Akin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all of you in the panel here this morning. I had a couple of quick questions. I hope they're quick. The first would be Admiral Roughead and also General Conway. We've had some trouble with welding, and particularly welding, I guess, on some LPDs, and part of that, it turns out, is a workforce problem where we don't have enough welders sometimes with the timing of when we build ships. So my question is, I understand that there could well be a serious workforce problem at the shipyards out in San Diego, and we currently have 3 LPDs scheduled for 11, 13, and 15. My first question is, would you be open-minded, at least if it saves money and if it averts some of that work, it puts the work in a more consistent way across the yard, to consider 11, 12, and 13? Excuse me, the MLPs, did I say LPD? The MLPs, which were the marine landing platform ships, if we were to consider 11, 12, 13 as opposed to 11, 13, 15. Are you open-minded to at least looking at that if it saves money?
Thank you for the question, sir. And I would say that the shipbuilding plan that we have in place is one that balances many factors, to include how that money is spread over time and what the needs of the Navy are and the development of that. As you know, the MLP is also a new class of ship, and acceleration there may not be possible. So I think as we look at that, we have to be very mindful, very careful of how that balance can be affected.
Certainly. And obviously, there's a lot of fact that goes into that. My second question is, my understanding is that your intent is to meet the March 1st goal in terms of the Joint Strike Fighter situation, to get the discount on buying F-18s at a lower price. First of all, is it correct that you do intend to file that paperwork on March 1 to allow us to get a discount on the price of the planes?
We received the letter of intent from the contractor on Monday. We know that the deadline is March 1st. We're working with the Office of the Secretary of Defense, who would have to make that notification to meet that deadline.
So the supplier did give us that 10% number that we'd talked about then?
Yes.
Okay. And so your intent then is to meet that deadline as far as you know?
As we are working hard to meet that deadline, given the very limited time we've got to do it, and we're working very hard with the staff of the Office of the Secretary of Defense to do that.
Good, thank you. Third question is, and this is something that I have been beating this drum for a couple of years, but I am confused, and I finally started to figure out why I'm a little confused in this subject. In March of 2008, the department briefed the committee that the shortfall of fighters was 188. In January of 2009, we were told it was 243. In March of 2009, we were told the shortfall was 312. As if by magic, 2 months later, 2009, we're told the shortfall was 146. At the beginning of this month, the Secretary of Defense testified the shortfall was 100 aircraft. Last week, the committee was told the shortfall was 177, and then 5 days later, my staff was told the shortfall was 100. So that's why I've been a little confused about this. We've gotten some different numbers. None of the numbers said 0, and all of them said we do have a fighter shortfall. So I guess my next question would be, in order to deal with that problem, would you consider purchasing more aircraft? Is that at least one option on the table, yes or no?
Mr. Akin, we have been working the strike fighter management very, very carefully, and particularly in the case of Navy, we have made some adjustments to squadrons. So we have been bringing our number down, and we will continue to look at how we manage our strike fighter force into the future. It in no way should detract from the imperative to get to Joint Strike Fighter. And foremost in my mind...
Excuse me, sir. My clock has only got 5 seconds. So the quick question is, would you consider purchasing additional aircraft as one possibility to deal with that problem?
My focus right now, sir, is on looking at the SLEP program for our A's and D's. That's what I'm going to be spending most of my time looking at.
So you didn't answer my question.
Admiral, would you like to answer his question so we can go on to the next questioner?
As we go into Palm 12, sir, we are going to look at how to best manage the strike fighter fleet. We have some procurements of 18s laid into this budget, but I also believe it's important that we look at the other levers as well.